So you have been an extraordinary leader inside of companies, but also you do a lot on boards. You're on not only you're on nonprofit boards and corporate boards, but you're on all these, the women corporate directors and NACD, and really setting the pace in the country. Why is that important to you? How do you show up? Like, what's your goal in being involved in these organizations?
Personally, I'm a curious person, and to be able to be involved with different organizations, to learn from them, and also have an opportunity to be of service, it's very interesting to me. I love being able to use what I've learned over the years and be helpful to organizations, both nonprofit and corporation. And nonprofit in particular, I think it's a very direct way for me to give back. There's so many hours in a day. You couldn't be volunteering, at every single project level, but if you could be, at least at the organization level, help them amplify their effort, that's wonderful. Corporate board, it's important to me. Also, we all know there's so many research figures that shows company with a more balanced, diverse board perform better.
Yes.
So I think it is really helping our business community and our overall community be better. And I have a daughter also, so it's another way of being a role model for her and other women as well.
You are that for so many of us. Let's talk about some of the hot topics on in the corporate boardroom these days. There have been mandates, and I would say a cultural shift from asset management firms, for example, requiring, board diversity, as you said, because it upgames everybody. It makes companies better. And we just saw the Wall Street Journal said this baloney message about somehow Silicon Valley Bank's collapse because they focused too much on ESG. I immediately ran a report on all of the failed companies from Washington Mutual to Lehman Brothers. None of them had any women on the board. Yeah. So let's be clear that that's baloney, but we're fighting this old narrative and they're still trying to drag us down. How is that showing up in your conversations on women corporate directors or an NACD board?
Yeah. And Julie, I think it's a continued process. I think the great work that you and How Women Lead are doing, it's definitely helping us, move this forward. And I have no doubt that in time, we would reach parity. But we have so many decades of sort of habits that companies have, and we just need to sort of keep chipping at it. The great work that you're doing, like my individual like myself, continue to sort of push this forward, this generation and next. I think I'm very positive and hopeful that, the number will improve year to year, and because, we do bring results.
So the data is really clear. We bring results, companies perform better. I would love to hear two messages from you. One, for women who are corporate directors currently, what is a courageous stance that they can take? And then let's talk about women who want to get on a corporate board. Sort of what are your recommendations to them? I know in the past you've said, hey, you want to go on a board, contact me if you want a certain, venture backed board, et cetera. So let's start with current corporate directors. Sort of from what you're seeing as leading in all these organizations, what is a courageous stance we all should be taking?
I think if one is already serving on a corporate board, I think we all shouldering this responsibility to continue to amplify our voices. And when there's opportunity, make sure, we bring very qualified women candidates, which there are a lot of, to the table. Because often opportunities are there, but, a lot of women are just not aware of that the opportunities exist. So just, being that voice, especially if you happen to be serving on nomination and governance committee, which is a great board for us women to be on, because you have a very direct opportunity to really help bring in our voices and our strong candidates to the table. So that's one. For aspiring board directors, and I think us women tend to want to be very prepared, and as we should. And organization like How Women Lead Nancy Shepherd runs a fantastic board readiness program, which I also participated in and benefited a lot from. So, you could prepare yourself. And I think the second part, it's just as important, if not more important, it's just continue to network. And I would say not just with women. I think there are many men who are enlightened and know the value. You need to have both allies and mentors. Continue to build your network and let people know that's what you are looking to do. Because sometimes people don't really know until you be explicit.
Yeah, I think especially since the bias, our heuristic is that, women aren't necessarily going to be looking for a board seat. And if you're an Asian woman, I think even less so. You have to actually assert, I want to go on this board, I can add value, and here's why.
Right.
And then really network it. So you're such a great example of that. And standing on the sidelines and waiting for someone to recognize you is not a successful strategy, right?
Yes.
So you started your life as an architecture major. I can only imagine how much fun it'd be to travel with you to understand, but you love to talk about money, like, and women and money is always sort of a complex equation. Can you talk to us a little bit about, why you decided to go into working on money and
Sure.
and what is your passion? You're smiling so much as we talk about this. And so I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
Well, Julie, I am Asian, as you could tell. My parents are both doctors, and their dream would be for me to be a doctor.
Yes, of course.
Now I tell them I'm a money doctor, and they
I
said
love that.
fine.
The money doctor, nice.
And why did I become involved with sort of the whole world of finance and helping women? Financial literacy and having a healthy relationship with money can be life-changing, not just for the individual, it's for generations to come. A lot of inequity within our world, it's really wealth not being created in one generation and therefore nothing's passed down either. So I think having a good relationship with money and knowing how to create money, it's important. And especially for women, a lot of us are perhaps not as engaged with money, and it could be just a traditional division of labor within a household. Maybe the spouse or the partner, male one, tend to spend more time on that. Not intentional necessarily, but we just are sort of falling into the traditional gender role. And then with that, like you are less engaged, and over time maybe become less interested. However, we tend to live longer.
Yeah.
And for women who work, sadly, there's still wage disparity for the same job. On average, women also tend to make less. So when you have a combination of living longer but earning less, it's not a good formula. So I particularly am passionate about working with women, generally like two types. I work with very powerful women, corporate executives. They are just simply too busy. It's not like they cannot manage their money, but they are just too busy. And the world of investing, it's changing so rapidly. And market event, you do need someone to actually really manage your funds on a day-to-day basis, as well as doing all the financial planning and tax planning. And then there's another group of women, I think I described a little bit before, that they abdicated, the money decision over time to other individuals in the family. Sometimes they might feel that they're not equipped or not, just wouldn't get it. So I really enjoy showing them it really doesn't have to be complicated. You just need to dedicate a little bit of time, have a good advisor to walk you through it over time. But it is important to have some basic knowledge, knowing where your assets are, your risks are, and your goals, and things like that.